Hello, everyone. From Realtors Property Resource, this is the Wow Factor. I'm Reggie Nicolay, and I'm joined by my co-host, Jeannie Willett. We're here to apply our 20 plus years of marketing experience to help you identify practical tips and winning strategies that will help gain the attention of your potential clients. Each month, we'll explore a new topic, interview an industry expert, and then we'll break down the how-to with a quick tutorial, all to help you wow your clients and close more deals. You've been asking for this for a while, but we're finally talking
commercial real estate.
Yes, you guessed it. So we've talked on the show with realtors in the residential space, but today we're going to shift gears and discuss the commercial industry and hear what segments have been most affected.
I can't even imagine how difficult it's been throughout the country for commercial agents and business owners. From restaurant to retail, every industry has been affected by the pandemic.
Right. We've all seen restaurants forced to pivot almost immediately to delivery or even outside dining. Many other industries have had to shift to online sales if they weren't there already.
Yep, we are a takeout only family now, and all our groceries are delivered too. Though honestly, that wasn't a major change for us. We were already starting to do more and more online. Yes, we ate at restaurants before, but we got most of our groceries delivered, and I did most of my shopping online. We're also a company that's always worked remote.
I've certainly experienced similarities in our household. We've been purchasing more goods online than ever before. One recent example is school shopping. This year was the first year my kids got a majority of their clothes online. And another big shift I've been hearing about is the explosive growth in home exercise equipment. Many are sharing stories of, it being hard to get equipment like weights, even a bike.
Buddy, you should say that. We just bought a Peloton bike. It was delivered last week. It took 8 weeks to get here because of the demand for at-home workout equipment. But it's worth the wait when gyms are shut down and you're always at home. Not to mention that we don't know how long this is going to continue on.
Yep, that's right. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We'll be interviewing Deena Zimmerman, commercial real estate powerhouse. She'll take us through the ins and outs of what she's seeing in the commercial market and also try to look at the silver lining of a time period that's been incredibly difficult.
She's also just, in general, a joy to talk to always. And a reminder of the flow of the show. After our interview, we'll talk to the What's New and What's Next guide, and then Reggie will do a quick tutorial on RPR in the breakdown. And don't forget, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up to date on all things The Wow Factor.
All right, let's get Deena on here.
We're talking with Deena Zimmerman today. She's an award-winning commercial real estate broker and vice president at SVN Chicago Commercial. But for us at RPR, she's always been a huge supporter, a member of our advisory council, and I'll always remember her as one of our first My RPR video testimonials. Hi, Deena. Thanks so much for taking the time with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Jeannie, I'm so glad you mentioned that video you did with Deena. Can you believe that was back in 2013? It's been over 7 years.
Was it?
Deena.
I remember the camera crew following me around at the office. That was in 13.
Yes.
God, look how good we look. Nobody's aged. It's amazing.
I was just going to say that about you. Honestly, Deena, it was one of my favorite videos because not only our first success story in RPR commercial, but now you're our first guest in the commercial space.
So we've discussed a lot of what's happening on the residential side here on the show, but can you give us a high-level overview of what you're seeing right now in commercial real estate?
I'm not really exactly sure where it's all at with residential, but I think it sort of depends on the sector. It's all across the board. I mean, when you look on obviously I'm a retail specialist, but just to do some broad strokes, on the industrial side of things, obviously with Amazon, kicking butt right now. They're not slowing down. So industrial is, in my opinion, the most stable asset. Interestingly enough, so is multifamily. I work with a lot of investors who do the 1031 exchanges. And oftentimes they're exchanging into multifamily properties. On the other end of the spectrum is hospitality and restaurants, and devastating. I mean, it's absolutely devastating. And then you've got, in the middle, so to speak, is retail. Some of my retailers, I sat on the phone crying with them. Several had to file bankruptcy, which is just so devastating. But on the flip side, what's interesting is there are some, you look at convenience and grocer, liquor, which is no joke. I mean, seriously, liquor sales. And for those states where cannabis is legal, I mean, these are numbers that are absolutely soaring. For those restaurants who actually, prior to the pandemic, meeting pretty much anybody but fine dining, who had a very robust online, delivery system, whether it's Grubhub, Uber Eats, Caviar, what have you. What's interesting is a lot of them have pivoted really well and arguably even better. So I never want to say that we're taking advantage of what's happening now, because we're not. But there is opportunity in all of this.
So I imagine that you started off the year with an idea of how you would be supporting your clients, and that's probably drastically changed. So
Yes.
What kinds of activities are you doing to support your clients that shifted from your game plan to start the year?
Well, doing a lot of tracking trends, listening to a webinar, taking a deep breath and spending another hour, combing through articles and through stats and what's going on in the world is really, really important information that we have to share with our clients. And it's interesting because things can change by the hour, especially in real estate, depending on what's happening with the pandemic. If you're in cities like I am, where we're also dealing with the rioting, which is another devastation to your clients. My point is paying attention to that and sharing it with somebody.
What are some other pieces in your tech stack, apps or websites that you rely on right now to help your remote operations?
What I've always wanted to do, and I wanted to do it last year, and it's my own fault, was be more present with my business on social media, do more videos, via YouTube. Now we're doing virtual videos of all of our spaces, even if they're really crazy, raw retail spaces where there may not be a lot to see. And what has been fantastic about that is, for those retailers who are expanding, a lot of them are in other states who would normally travel, right, to do a site tour and take a look at my spaces. Well, they can't now, and they can move faster because of all of this. Now I have these YouTube videos. Shame on me, I should have done it sooner, but I'm going to always do this moving forward.
It's such a great platform too, because you're branding yourself in that process and they get to know you throughout the whole, video series, and that's exciting.
Because if I can't adapt to what's happening in the world, then there's going to be people out there that would rather work with an agent who can.
So you've been a longtime advocate of RPR and user of the RPR trade area reports and business points of interest on the maps. How do these pieces fit into game planning with your clients?
Because we can't physically fly anywhere, or a lot of people aren't even comfortable physically touring space that's, in their backyard. And so we're relying on these reports now more than ever, because people really want to understand, so what am I really looking at? Mm-hmm. Who's really living there? Where are they spending their money? I mean, the POIs, point of interest on RPR I love it. But now more than ever, because we really have to rely on that, because we don't have any other data points to look at when we can't physically be at a property. And also with what's going on now, when you're investing or when you're, leasing a space, you always have to really pay attention to the demographics and everything going on. But now when you're looking at the pandemic and how, even if it breaks down into a neighborhood, how this neighborhood may be doing better during these times than another, you have to be really much more thoughtful in making a decision on moving on a space or moving on a building now more than ever, because there's so much uncertainty. I can tell you what's happening today, but are we going to wind up continuing going backwards? With flu season coming up and election season, are we going to all be sheltered in place again? And if so, if I jump on this location, is that better than that location based on what's happening in the world right now and the demographics? So arguably, I think RPR is even honestly more important now than ever, because we're going to be relying on that data more than ever.
Well, I knew you'd have a great tip for our breakdown, and thank you. That's exactly what we're going to have to talk about in the second half of the show, because you're right. It's very timely. Thank you for coming.
It's always great to talk to you. We always love chatting with you. So thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm Mike, and I'm back again with another update on what's new in RPR. We know that many realtors out there are looking for different ways to market themselves and generate leads, especially in our new normal market. One thing to consider is a real estate blog. Our newest article gives an array of tips and advice on how to write and come up with ideas on topics for an agent blog. We even show you how to use RPR to back up some of your writing. If you have a blog or maybe you're thinking about starting one, you want to be sure to check out this article. Next up, we've got another RPR wow moment story. In this one, we talk with Sid Killick. She's a realtor from Irvine, California, and she tells a great user story about how her RPR app really helped her out of a jam with a client last year. She was in Europe on some personal business when one of her clients sent her an urgent request about a property. Not knowing if it would work or not, Sid opened up her RPR mobile app, popped in the address, and found everything her client needed and sent it over in seconds, all from an airport in France. Pretty cool, right? You can read all about Sid's experience on our blog. And as always, if you have an RPR wow moment that you'd like to share, please email us. We also have one other solid RPR commercial article for you to dive into. This one's all about using RPR maps to better serve your commercial clients. That's what's new. Now it's Eric's turn. Hey, Aaron, what's next?
Hey Mike, how's it going everyone? I'm Aaron, and this month we've got something really awesome to share with you. So let's jump right into what's next from RPR. This September, instead of the traditional webinar, we're excited to be offering Table Talk. In this more casual webinar format, you'll learn, ask questions, and engage with RPR trainers. Think of it more as a hangout. You'll walk away being up to speed on RPR's latest features, helpful tips and shortcuts, participate in a Q&A, and hear answers to other users' FAQs. And now I've got one other really exciting new RPR feature to share with everyone. On your next visit, you'll notice a whole new way to experience RPR. A new shortcuts menu will offer you a customized step-by-step workflow. These journeys will cover everything from touring the RPR map, tracking a market area, discovering all the ins and outs of RPR's CMA builder, and everything in between. All in order to help you wow your clients and close more deals. So check it out today. And with that, that's what's next from RPR. Now, I'm going to throw it back over to Reggie for the breakdown.
And now for the breakdown. In this segment, I'll run you through some tips from Deena's interview earlier in the show. You'll recall Deena mentioned how the pandemic continues to bring uncertainty for many businesses and how that's created even more reason to thoroughly review all options when expanding or moving a business to a new location. It's critical to really know what you're looking at, who is really living around the neighborhood, and where people are spending their money. So on today's breakdown, I'll look at how to use RPR Commercial with your clients to review the key data points of an area, including demographics, business points of interest, traffic counts, and more, so you can better meet the needs of your clients. Let's begin by visiting narrpr.com/commercial. This will take you directly to RPR Commercial. Now, from the home page, select Go to Maps. I'll enter a geography and then select a map layer to begin a visual analysis. There are a variety of indicators from three main categories: demographic, spending, and residential real estate. I'll select demographic indicators and choose to show percentage of population in early adulthood, and then I'll click Run Analysis. As the map loads, notice the analysis indicators here are shaded at a variety of geographic levels. Pan and zoom the map to find high or low concentrations of the indicator and click directly on the map to see the data represented. You'll also see options to search for listings in that area, start an analysis, view the trade area details, or create a report. Also, here on the left, adjust the thematic map layers you want to view, or you can turn off map layers altogether to make viewing other data points a bit easier. On the right side of the map, you'll see POIs. Here, RPR has more than 20 million business points of interest in categories such as shopping, manufacturing, finance, restaurants and bars, hospitals, and more. Click the POIs button and select Edit to choose the specific points of interest you want to view. To access more specific business types such as restaurants, hotels, daycares, and hospitals, scroll to the bottom of this list and select Show More POIs. Once you've checked a POI category, map pins will display on the map. Click on any given point to display information about the business at that location, including its address, number of employees, estimated annual sales volume, industry, square footage range, and a description of where the data is coming from. Much like POIs, traffic counts can be turned on here. Once traffic counts are on, they'll be displayed on the map with triangle indicators of varying colors depending on the number of cars driving on that road. Now let's create a report that provides a complete summary of the demographics and economics of the area. We'll create a trade area report. For that, I'll use the drawing tools here above the map. They can be used to define an area around the property we're interested in using either drive time or radius search, for example. Using the radius tool, I'll select a location and drag out to choose my area. Next, I'll click Trade Area Report and then name the search area and click OK. Now I'm taken to the reports page with Commercial Trade Area Report selected. Now I'll choose Run Report. Here's my trade area report, packed with data including an overview of the consumers who live in the area, which consumer segments are most dominant, population trends, age, marital status, economic comparisons, education, traffic, and more. And just like that, we've reached the end of this segment. I hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of The Breakdown.
I'm so excited that we finally talked commercial. I think that there is so much value to the information on RPR for both commercial and residential practitioners, especially right now where it's just not easy or sometimes even possible to travel to an area to see locations and surrounding businesses. And Deena is such a delight.
She is always great to talk to. I hope her interview gave listeners a few ideas on adapting to the changes around us. And remember, to everyone listening, if you have a story to share, please let us know. From commercial to residential to brokerages and associations, we want to hear your secrets to success.
Yes. You can reach out to us via Facebook, YouTube, or on the RPR blog, blog.narrpr.com, which has all of our resources, articles, video tutorials, webinars, and more. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to keep up to date on all things The Wow Factor.
Thank you so much for joining us. This is Reggie and Jeannie signing off. Stay safe out there.
Bye-bye.